Yo guys, welcome back to another video. It's your boy Siphon, and today we're going to be talking about why Mob is the most dangerous character in an anime. Alright guys, I have a couple points, so make sure to stay throughout the video in order to enjoy all of them. So first of all, we're going to get started with some of his background. Now if you guys don't know, this is called Mob Psycho 100. Now the number 100 is a certain emotional meter that we're going to be using and we're going to be talking about throughout this video. So keep that in mind if you have never watched this before. Now to give a little bit of background throughout the anime, Mob is basically a type of Esper. So an Esper is a person with a special ability. Mob's specialty is telekinesis. Someone who has telekinetic powers, they has the ability to make things levitate, float, push against, and bring forth. Keeping that in mind, let's talk about some of his insane powers. So we're going to be talking about the main powers. He also has some side powers which aren't too powerful, such as like making flowers grow or things grow, which we're only going to be talking about the main, most powerful powers that he has throughout the anime. So his main power, which is his main strength, is telekinesis. He can basically fly, make force fields, make things float, and make people basically control different like their atoms and stuff like that. Next, he can evade psychic attacks. Now we saw this in episode 9, which I will be bringing up later on in the video because we're going to be talking about that specific episode for a reason. He can also transfer his entire consciousness into another living being. We saw him do this by controlling another entity. He basically went inside a vegetable ghost and controlled his vines and all that sort of thing, so we didn't think that was possible. So this is something new that he has come up with. And lastly, his best power of all is called Rage Mode. So Rage Mode, or Rage as they call it in the anime, is where he becomes unconscious and has the power of a literal god, kind of like Saitama from One Punch Man. Like literally out of nowhere, he just has the power to do so many other like random things. So other than his powers alone being very scary, there's also another reason as to why Mob is one of the most powerful anime characters out there. He has the ability to give others his powers, which includes telekinesis, being able to see ghosts, unconscious transfer, those sort of things he can actually give to another person. We saw this in one of the episodes where he gave his boss, Arataka, his powers for a short amount of time, which is really cool because this kind of reminds me of Deku from My Hero Academia, where his power is basically passed down through generations by eating a hair and then inheriting it somehow. But yeah, I just thought that was really cool, especially because after this, his boss actually gained the ability to see ghosts, which means he unlocked his psychic ability. Now this is confirmed by our friend Dimple. The reason why he stated this to Reitaka is because Reitaka was actually able to see him, which wasn't usual because Dimple is one of the only characters in the anime who knows that Reitaka is actually a fake and never had any powers. So now that Reitaka is able to see him, this proves to Dimple that he's actually awakened his psychic abilities and will soon manifest his own sort of power. And now we're going to go into our last main point as to why Mob is one of the craziest, most dangerous anime characters out there. So we brought up this thing called Rage Mode a bit ago, and now we're going to be explaining that further. So Rage Mode is a point in time which Mob himself reaches. Now we can see this throughout the anime where the little percentage goes up. It's basically his emotional status. Once it reaches 100, it reaches unstableness of emotions. So because Mob becomes very emotionally overwhelmed, he gets in this state where he actually loses his morals and functions as a human, which is pretty insane. When he gets in this state, his eyes either glow red or turn completely white, kind of indicating that he's no longer there or present. This character actually becomes completely unconscious and is unaware of any morals, rules, or laws. He goes as far as being able to bring down entire buildings and even hurt people without the slightest thought, which is why this is so scary. His entire form changes from this nice little innocent middle schooler to some overpowered freak. His hair starts to glow as well as his body, his eyes turn red or white, and he starts to levitate off the ground with enormous power surging off of him. And throughout the anime, the only people that we've seen who are actually able to calm him down or get him straight back into his body or into his conscious state is his boss Arataka and his brother Ritsu. In conjunction with his Rage Mode, he also tends to surpass his limits each time. This has been a common theme throughout the anime when he goes into these Rage Modes. He actually learns new abilities, which we can see in episode 9 after being attacked by Mido. The antagonist Mido has the ability to attack someone's mind and make them see illusions. So as he's attacking Mob's mind, Mob at first becomes overwhelmed and overstimulated, then somehow is able to reverse the psychic attack onto Mido. And this actually wouldn't be the first time this sort of thing happens. He tends to gain abilities from other ghosts he fights as well as other espers, which is actually pretty cool. And the absolute last part as to why I think Shigeo is one of the most dangerous characters in an anime is because this character tends to lose his emotions when he gets into Rage Mode. Now we talked about how he becomes unconscious in this sort of state, but he also loses his emotions. We can see Shigeo already struggle with his emotions throughout the anime. Reason being is because he's too scared to become overwhelmed and overstimulated, to which will trigger his powers to be unlocked and released without control. To me, this sounds like a perfect villain story waiting to happen. This is a villain who can lift buildings with ease, kill people, rip them apart, let go of all his human attachment, his morals, and doesn't care if anyone gets hurt in the process. Now, although I love this anime and I love Shigeo for the character, I think he can become one of the most brutal anime villains there ever was. That about sums it up. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please go ahead and watch Mob Psycho if you haven't. Hope to see you guys in the next one. Have a good one. Peace.